The silent watch, the void between stars held no mercy for the arrogant. Ambassador Kelthera stood on the command deck of the Sovereign's Will, her chitinous hands clasped behind her back, violet eyes fixed on the primitive star system before her. Sul, a backwater, a footnote in the galactic census, home to a species that had barely crawled beyond their own moon, when the Varathian hegemony had already mastered faster-than-light travel for 3 millennia. "Status report," she commanded, her voice sharp as fractured glass. Commander Vekris approached, his scaled head bowing slightly. "We've entered the outer system, Ambassador. No response to our transmission. No defensive posture detected. Their communications networks are quiet." Kelthera's mandibles clicked in satisfaction. "As expected. They cower before us." The Sovereign's Will was not alone. Behind it, in a formation that had intimidated 100 worlds into submission, 20 Varathian warships hung in the darkness. Cruisers with hull-mounted plasma arrays, destroyers bristling with kinetic accelerators, and at the center, Kelthera's flagship, a dreadnought designed to break planetary wills before a single shot was fired. This was not a diplomatic mission. It was a harvesting operation. "Advance to the 4th planet," Kelthera ordered. "They're Mars, I believe they call it. We'll establish a foothold there, strip its resources, and when Earth finally responds, we'll be in position to offer them a choice. Servitude or annihilation." Vekris hesitated. "Ambassador, the silence troubles me. Even primitive species typically respond to first contact with something. Fear, curiosity, aggression. They respond with nothing because they have nothing." Kelthera interrupted. "No fleet, no defenses worth noting. Their transmissions speak of peace, exploration, hope." She sneered. "They are children playing in a garden, unaware that predators exist." The fleet moved deeper into Sol system. They passed Neptune, its azure surface gleaming coldly. Uranus tilted and distant. Saturn's rings glittered like a cosmic necklace, beautiful and irrelevant. Still, Earth remained silent. Hidden in Saturn's rings, Captain Adrian Cole watched the alien fleet approach on his tactical display, his expression carved from stone. The bridge of the UNS Defiant was dark, bathed only in the soft glow of holographic projections. Around him, his crew worked in disciplined silence, no unnecessary chatter, no wasted motion. They had trained for this moment for 15 years. "Distance to hostile fleet?" Cole asked quietly. Lieutenant Okoye, his tactical officer, didn't look up from her console. 2 million kilometers in closing, Captain. They're maintaining formation. Arrogant bastards aren't even running active scans. They don't think they need to, Cole replied. "Athena, status of the network?" The AI's voice filled the bridge, calm, feminine, utterly devoid of fear. "All stealth systems functioning at optimal efficiency, Captain. 473 vessels holding position across the system. Luna Command reports full readiness. Asteroid belt defense grid is armed and awaiting your order." Cole allowed himself the faintest smile. "Good, let them come closer." Beside him, his XO, Commander James Reeves, crossed his arms. "You really think they'll fall for it?" "They already have," Cole said. "Look at their formation. Parade formation. They're here to intimidate, not to fight. They think we're defenseless," Reeves grunted. "Then they're idiots." "No," Cole corrected. "They're uninformed. There's a difference." He leaned forward, studying the alien ships. "Athena, compile full tactical analysis. I want to know their weapons range, shield harmonics, propulsion weaknesses, everything." "Already done, Captain. I've identified 47 critical vulnerabilities across their fleet composition. Uploading to all commands now." Cole nodded. "Hold fire. Hold position. Let them pass Jupiter. Luna Command, Earth's moon doctor." Mira Valen stood in the nerve center of humanity's greatest secret, her eyes scanning a dozen holographic screens simultaneously. The room hummed with quiet intensity. Around her, analysts tracked every microsecond of the alien fleet's advance. Linguists dissected their transmissions. Engineers monitored the power signatures of Earth's hidden armada. "They're predictable," Mira muttered, watching Kelthera's dreadnought glide past Jupiter's orbit. "Arrogant. They haven't even deployed reconnaissance drones." Her assistant, Dr. Yuki Tanaka, glanced up from his station. "Should we be worried they're this confident?" Mira shook her head. "Confidence born from ignorance is a gift, Yuki. It means they haven't done their homework." "And we have. For 30 years. Mira pulled up a file. Decades of intercepted alien communications. Stolen galactic star charts, covertly observed conflicts between distant civilizations. Humanity had been listening, learning, adapting. While the Varathians and their kind had assumed Earth was isolated and primitive, humanity had been building in secret, building in shadow, building a fleet that would make gods hesitate. Athena, Mira called. Show me their psychology profile. The AI's holographic avatar materialized. A woman of light, serene, and calculating. Ambassador Kelthera exhibits classic Varathian supremacist tendencies. Her species has encountered minimal resistance in their expansion over the past 2 centuries. They view technological inferiority as moral inferiority. She expects submission. She's going to be disappointed, Mira said softly. Indeed, Dr. Valen. Shall I prepare the countermeasure sequences? Not yet. Let Captain Cole make the call. Mira's gaze drifted to the image of Earth rotating peacefully on the main screen. Blue, green, fragile-looking. She needs to understand what she's walked into. Fear is a better teacher than violence. The Varathian fleet, approaching Mars. Kelthera watched Mars grow larger in the viewport, a rust-red orb of dead seas and ancient dust. Her mandibles clicked rhythmically, a Varathian sign of impatience. Still no response from Earth? She asked. Vecris checked his console. None, Ambassador. Their satellites are active. We detect transmissions between their planet and orbital stations, but they have not acknowledged our presence. Kelthera's eyes narrowed. Send another message. Tell them we will establish operations on Mars within the hour. If they wish to negotiate terms of cooperation, they may respond. Otherwise, we proceed. The message was sent. Seconds passed, then a full minute. Then 5. Nothing. Kelthera's patience snapped. Helm full advance. Take us into Earth's orbital zone. I want them to see us hanging over their world. Let them, Ambassador. Vecris's voice cracked with alarm. Sensor anomaly. Multiple contacts appearing on. The display exploded with red markers, not 1, not 10. Hundreds. Kelthera's breath caught. What? What is that? Ships, Vecris stammered. Hundreds of ships. They're decloaking. They were here the entire time. Around the Varathian fleet, the darkness came alive. From Saturn's rings, warships emerged, sleek, angular, bristling with weaponry. From the asteroid belt, defense platforms ignited, their hulls reinforced with layered alloys unknown to Varathian metallurgy. Near Luna, massive dreadnoughts shimmered into view, each one larger than Kelthera's flagship. And in Earth's orbit, a lattice of orbital defense stations unfolded like a metal flower, particle cannons charging with light. Kelthera staggered backward. No, this is impossible. Our intelligence said, our intelligence was wrong. Vecris shouted, his claws trembling over the weapons console. I'm reading reactor signatures equivalent to our capital-class vessels. Their smaller ships alone match our cruisers in firepower. Kelthera's mind raced. This was not a species crawling toward the stars. This was a military power that had hidden itself from the galaxy. Suddenly, every screen on the Varathian bridge flickered. A human face appeared. Captain Adrian Cole. He sat in his command chair, calm, composed, hands folded. Behind him, his crew worked with mechanical precision. His voice was quiet, but it filled the Varathian ship like thunder. Ambassador Kelthera of the Varathian hegemony, you entered our system without permission. You transmitted threats disguised as diplomacy. You assumed we were weak. Kelthera's mandibles twitched. You were hiding. Why? Why conceal your strength? Cole's expression didn't change. Because we wanted to see who you really were. And now we know. Behind him, Athena's voice added, cold and precise. 473 human vessels are currently targeting your fleet. Luna Command has weapons lock. Asteroid Belt Defense Grid is armed. You are outgunned, outmaneuvered, and out of time. Kelthera's voice came out as a rasp. You would destroy us? Cole leaned forward slightly. No, Ambassador. We're giving you a choice. He let the silence stretch. Turn your ships around. Leave Sol system. Return to your hegemony and tell them what you saw here. Tell them that Earth is not a garden to be harvested. Tell them that humanity does not kneel. Kelthera's claws dug into her command console. And if I refuse? Cole's eyes were ice. Then you'll learn what happens when predators meet an apex species. On the Varathian sensors, every human ship charged weapons simultaneously. a display of synchronized lethality that sent cascading alarms across their fleet. Calthera's breathing quickened. Her crew looked to her terrified, waiting. She had come to conquer. Now she was prey. "Helm," she whispered. "Reverse course." "Ambassador?" Vecris stared at her in disbelief. "Reverse course," she screamed. "Get us out of this system, now!" The Varathian fleet turned, engines flaring desperately, fleeing back toward the outer system. And behind them, the silent Human Armada watched, waiting. The price of arrogance. The Sovereign's will limped through the outer reaches of Sol system like a wounded animal fleeing an apex predator's den. Ambassador Calthera stood rigid on her command deck, her violet eyes fixed on the receding blue dot that was Earth. Behind her, the planet hung in the darkness like a jewel, beautiful, serene, and utterly terrifying. Her mandibles trembled, a Varathian physiological response she couldn't suppress. Fear. Pure, primal fear. "Damage report," she rasped, her voice hollow. Commander Vecris worked his console with shaking claws. "Minimal. They didn't fire on us, Ambassador. They simply watched us leave." That was somehow worse. The human fleet had held fire not out of mercy, but out of confidence. They had demonstrated absolute dominance without spilling a single drop of blood. It was a calculated psychological strike more devastating than any weapon. Calthera's communication console chimed, an incoming transmission from Varathian High Command, 40 light-years away. The message had been sent hours ago, before her fleet had even reached Mars. She played it. Supreme Overlord Tharkin's face filled the screen, aged scales, cold eyes, a voice that had ordered the subjugation of 17 worlds. "Ambassador Calthera, status report. You should have established orbital dominance by now. We expect confirmation of human capitulation within the hour." Calthera closed her eyes. How could she explain this? "Compose a response," she told Vecris quietly. "Emergency protocol, full encryption." "What should I tell them?" Calthera turned toward the viewport one last time, watching Saturn's rings glitter in the distance. The rings where hundreds of human warships had hidden, silent as ghosts. "Tell them the truth. Tell them we failed. Tell them humanity is not what we believed." Vecris hesitated. "Ambassador, if you report this as a failure, High Command will demand your execution for incompetence." "And if I lie," Calthera whispered, "I doom every Varathian who comes after me." She straightened her posture, mandibles clicking with grim resolve. "Send the message, full tactical data, ship configurations, weapon signatures, everything. Let them see what we saw." The transmission was sent. Now all she could do was wait, and hope the hegemony believed her before they sent another fleet to die. Prince Defiant, Saturn orbit captain. Adrian Cole stood in the observation deck, hands clasped behind his back, watching the Varathian fleet disappear into the black. He didn't smile. He didn't celebrate. This was not a victory. It was a warning shot in a war that hadn't yet begun. "Athena," he said quietly. "Track them. I want to know the moment they leave Sol's heliopause." The AI's voice materialized beside him. "Acknowledged, Captain. Their trajectory suggests a direct return to Varathian space. Estimated departure from our system, 47 minutes. Cole nodded. "Good. Once they're gone, initiate Protocol Watchman. I want long-range surveillance drones positioned at every approach vector to Sol. If anything larger than an asteroid enters this system without clearance, I want to know about it." "Already deploying, Captain." Behind him, the door hissed open. Commander Reeves stepped inside, carrying 2 cups of coffee. He handed one to Cole. "Hell of a day." Cole accepted the cup, taking a slow sip. "It's not over." "I know." Reeves leaned against the viewport. "They'll be back. Maybe not tomorrow. Maybe not next year. But they'll come." "Let them," Cole said softly. "Next time, they'll come prepared. Next time, they'll bring friends. And next time..." He turned to face Reeves. "We'll be ready." Reeves studied his captain's face. You think we did the right thing? Letting them go? Yes. Cole's voice was firm. Because now they'll tell others. They'll spread the word. And every species in the galaxy will learn the same lesson. Earth is not prey. And if they decide we're a threat? Cole's expression hardened. Then they'll learn we're not just a threat. We're the thing threats are afraid of. Luna Command. Earth's moon Dr. Mira Valen sat in her office, exhausted but exhilarated, reviewing the data streams from the encounter. On her screen, Athena's holographic avatar stood patiently. Dr. Valen, preliminary analysis confirms the Varathians transmitted detailed intelligence back to their homeworld. We intercepted fragments before encryption protocols locked us out. Mira leaned forward. What did they say? Key phrases include unprecedented stealth technology, weaponry surpassing hegemony standards, coordinated defense network, and, most telling, humanity is not what the archives claimed. Mira smiled faintly. Good. Let them revise their archives. Athena tilted her head, an eerily human gesture. Dr. Valen, I must ask, why did humanity choose isolation for so long? We possessed faster-than-light capability decades ago. We could have announced ourselves, joined the galactic community. Mira stood, walking to the window overlooking Earth. The blue planet turned slowly, peaceful and radiant. Because we're good listeners, Athena. We listened to alien transmissions. We watched civilizations rise and fall. We saw empires built on conquest. Diplomacy backed by threats, peace maintained through subjugation. She turned back to the AI. And we decided that if we were going to enter that arena, we'd do it on our terms. Not as supplicants, not as victims, but as equals or superiors. A logical strategy, Athena observed, though it required extraordinary patience. Patience, Mira agreed, and secrecy. Every ship we built in the shadows. Every technological breakthrough we kept hidden. We let the galaxy believe we were primitive, isolated, irrelevant. And while they ignored us, we studied them, learned their weaknesses, designed countermeasures for every weapon system, every tactical doctrine, every cultural blind spot. Athena's eyes glowed softly. The Varathians underestimated you. Everyone did. Mira's smile turned cold. That was the point. A notification chimed. Dr. Tanaka's voice came through the intercom. Dr. Valen, we're receiving a transmission from Earth's Security Council. They're requesting your presence for an emergency session. Mira sighed. Of course they are. Tell them I'll be there in 10 minutes. She glanced at Athena. What's the mood down there? Mixed. Celebration among the public. News of the encounter has leaked, as expected. But among leadership, concern. They worry about retaliation. They should, Mira said bluntly. This was just the opening move. Varathian High Command, 40 light-years from Sol Supreme Overlord Tharkan, sat in the war chamber, surrounded by holographic projections of his most trusted advisors, watching the intelligence data from Kelthera's encounter for the third time. It didn't get less disturbing. Impossible, muttered Admiral Krivash, his scales bristling. 400 ships? From a species we classified as pre-interstellar only 50 years ago? Not impossible, Tharkan corrected coldly. Improbable, but clearly factual. He gestured at the tactical display. Look at their formations. Disciplined. Coordinated. They didn't panic. They didn't overreact. They revealed themselves with perfect timing, maximized psychological impact, and let us leave with our lives. And our data. A trap, another advisor hissed. They wanted us to see their strength. Obviously. Tharkan leaned back in his throne. The question is, why? Silence filled the chamber. Then softly, a voice spoke from the shadows. Strategist Valera, the hegemony's chief intelligence officer, stepped into the light. To send a message, Overlord, not to us. To everyone. Tharkan's eyes narrowed. Explain. Valira activated a star map. Humanity's transmissions are notoriously open. Radio waves, data broadcasts, entertainment signals. They've been leaking into the galaxy for over a century. Every species within 50 light years has intercepted them. Most dismissed humans as primitive, curious, harmless. Clearly they were wrong, yes. But now, with our encounter, humanity has revealed its true nature. They will ensure this incident spreads, and every species that once ignored them will recalculate. Tharkin's claws drummed against his armrest. You're saying they used us. I'm saying they used us as their introduction to the galaxy. They couldn't announce themselves. Doing so would have made them targets. But by humiliating the Varathian hegemony, one of the most feared empires in this sector, they've announced themselves through our failure. The chamber erupted in angry hisses and clicks. Tharkin silenced them with a raised hand. What do you recommend, Valera? She met his gaze without flinching. 3 options, Overlord. 1. We retaliate with overwhelming force. Gather our full armada, call in allies, crush Earth before they grow stronger. And the risks? If their defenses are even half as formidable as the data suggests, we'd lose thousands of ships, possibly the war. Option 2. Diplomacy. Establish formal relations. Treat them as equals. Trade. Negotiate. Coexist. Tharkin sneered. The hegemony does not negotiate with inferiors. They are not inferiors, Overlord. That is the lesson. The chamber fell silent. Tharkin's breathing was heavy. And option 3? Valira's expression darkened. We do nothing. We leave them alone, mark their system as restricted space, and we pray they do the same. You would have us fear them? I would have us survive, Overlord. Tharkin stared at the tactical display, at the image of Earth, small and blue and impossibly dangerous. Finally, he spoke. Recall Ambassador Kelthera. She will not be executed. She will be debriefed, honored for her survival, and appointed as our liaison for potential future contact with humanity. And our official stance, Overlord? Tharkin's voice was ice. We observe. We gather intelligence, and we wait. If humanity proves to be expansionist, we will respond. If they remain in their system, we leave them in peace. But make no mistake. He leaned forward, eyes blazing. We will never forget what we saw today. And we will never underestimate them again. Earth, United Nations headquarters. Geneva, the Security Council chamber was packed. Representatives from every nation sat in tense silence as Dr. Mira Valen stood at the central podium, her voice steady and clear. Today humanity crossed a threshold, she began. For decades we built in secret. We listened, learned, and prepared. And today we revealed ourselves, not as victims, not as prey, but as protectors of our home. Murmurs of agreement rippled through the chamber. But let's be clear, Mira continued, her tone sharpening. This was not a victory. It was a deterrent. The Varathians will not be the last to test us. Other species will come, some out of curiosity, some out of greed, some out of fear, and we must be ready. The Secretary General leaned forward. Dr. Valen, what are your recommendations? Mira didn't hesitate. We expand. Not aggressively, but deliberately. We establish outposts beyond Sol. We continue developing our technology, and we make one thing absolutely clear to the galaxy. Earth is open to diplomacy, trade, and cooperation, but we are not open to conquest. Another representative spoke up, and if they refuse to accept that? Mira's eyes were steel. Then we remind them why predators don't hunt apex species. UNS Defiant. 1 week later, Captain Adrian Cole stood on the bridge, watching the stars. Athena's voice broke the silence. Captain, the Varathian fleet has exited our monitoring range. They are officially gone. Cole nodded. Good. Status of the defense network? All platforms operational. Surveillance grid is active. Earth is secure. For now, Cole murmured. Behind him, Commander Reeves approached. New orders from High Command, Captain. We're being reassigned. Cole turned. Where? Reeves handed him a datapad. Proxima Centauri. We're establishing humanity's first extrasolar outpost. They want the Defiant to lead the convoy. Cole read the orders, a faint smile touching his lips. So it begins. The expansion? No, Cole said quietly. The awakening. Humanity was never the underdog, Reeves. We were the sleeping giant. And now, he looked out at the stars, vast and infinite. Now we're wide awake. Epilogue, Galactic Council Archives. 10 years later, record entry, species. 47291, Humanity, Sol III. Classification, Alpha Class Threat, Diplomatic. Partner Summary. Initial contact with humanity resulted in catastrophic intelligence failure by Vorathian hegemony. Species demonstrated advanced stealth, coordination, and military capability, far exceeding preliminary assessments. Current status. Humanity has established 17 extrasolar colonies, maintains peaceful trade with 14 species, and has successfully repelled 3 attempted incursions into their territory. Council recommendation: do not engage humanity with hostile intent. Approach with respect, honesty, and preparedness. They are not conquerors, but they are not to be conquered. Addendum. High Counselor's note. They were always there. We simply didn't see them. Let this be a lesson. Underestimate humans at your own peril. For when the giants wake, the universe trembles.